You can train a Francophone to speak English, but you cannot change him from regurgitating what comes from above in that command system.
I've always said secession is not an option. I can talk with the secessionist just to try to convince him that it is in his best interest to come back to his mother country, to his fatherland, because his place is here and not out. But secession is not an option and will never be an option as far as I'm concerned. But I'm ready to talk with them to understand why they can come to ask for a secession of their country. We know that the root cause is, for some of them, the Bamenda Conference, the Fuman Conference, and so on. So we can go back and revisit the situation. But is it a solution for a country in crisis just to split it into two parts? Just because we have maybe a government who is not, which is not listening to them?
You know, it's irritating listening to this man. Not just because of what he's saying, but because he also proves that you can train a Francophone to speak English, but you cannot change him from regurgitating what comes from above in that command system. You cannot change him. It's like they've been trained to be robots. Repeat, and then make others do the same thing. They force you to be French colonial subjects, and so you come and force Ambazonians to be subjects of the colony in order to satisfy the colonizer. And so in order to have the space to even be allowed to participate in the sham elections, you have to be that. I wish I am correct about that, but you would think that somebody who is supposed to be a prominent lawyer, a prominent educated man, whatever that means in the Francophone world, should speak in a nuanced way, so that when you down the road bring these words to him, he'll have a way to explain himself. But when he speaks like the dictators that France Afrique nurtures all around the place and use words that not too long will not be true, then you lose respect for him. You lose respect for him. You cannot make him gain a non-brainwashed mind so that he can be a little more original or be a little more truthful or make sense and not put himself in a situation where if you play these same lines to him tomorrow and put the facts together, he looks like an idiot. And you know, I heard one who was called their best intellectuals, I think his name was Chibembe or something like that. He spoke and I look at him and it's like, you know, some of these people maintain a certain prestige and personality until they open their mouths. Until they open their mouths. Then you realize that they have not been educated properly. They've not been trained to think. They've not been trained to face reality. They have come out of a command system, and so the lie that is passed on from above, they take it and swallow it and regurgitate it in public, and because they're Africans, they make all of us look bad. That's where all of us have an investment in the stupidity of people like this. Okay, that's where we all have an investment. I took some notes as he was talking, and he says, I'm not against talking to secessionists. I've always said secession is not an option. And when I heard him saying this, I was thinking, okay, not too long ago, Issa Chiruma was on Equinox television saying how secessionists should not be allowed to be on there. If you bring secessionists, I will shut down your television. No, secessionists are over the place. You can call us secessionists, you can call us murderers. They are over the place. They are all over the place right now, talking. And Chiruma is gone. Because you see, all these Chirumas, Paul Biya, the Kamtos, all of these are people who are promoted and allowed to function in the system and have the airwaves and the privilege to run for president. All of those are people who are chosen, and they're chosen not because of their smartness. They are chosen not because of their ability to know what their self-interest is, or the interest of their non-independent country. Because when he talks of secession, I'm still coming to that, because he sounds like Cameroon is such a country. No, Cameroon is still a French colony right now, and the French are picking you and selecting people, or allowing you to be part of the charade which they have put together, blindfold the rest of the world. The rest of the world knows that, but only you sit there, and instead of, the least you could do, Mr. Kamto, is to speak in a nuanced way, so that tomorrow you can find a wiggle room to get out of the nonsense you're talking about now. Okay? There was a time when the word Southern Cameroon cannot be used in public in La République du Cameroun, in that colony called La République du Cameroun. In fact, there was a time you couldn't use the word West Cameroon. But today, they're shouting Ambazonia. They're shouting Ambazonia all over the place. Okay? There was a time they wouldn't listen to anything else, but today they're offering special status, whatever that means. So just keep coming. Just keep moving back. And I'm talking of people who are allowed to operate in the system, people who have already paid their dues. They've done what they needed to do to be given the power to then speak or send terrorists to go kill Ambazonians. Those people are now admitting that they have failed in making Ambazonians the citizens of La République du Cameroun, Francophiles. So don't tell us what is an option or what is not, because we determine what the option will be. Maybe you need to speak like that in order to be allowed to participate in the sham elections that you were trying to participate in, but even that didn't allow you to do anything, because you have absolutely no control about the place. Paul Biya has no control about the place. So when you're saying it's not an option, no, the French are saying it's not an option, and they're doing that at the Battle of Gun in the 21st century. They look ridiculous, just the same as you look ridiculous. Paul Biya looked ridiculous. You all are looking ridiculous. So Ambazonia is moving on. And you all know that. You're burning villages, you're doing all kinds of things. But, hey, that's what countries that have liberated themselves go through. So Ambazonia is actually one step ahead now in fighting La République. And like most Ambazonians say, resistance forever, independence or resistance forever. So Paul Biya is on his last leg. He's offered special status, and Ambazonians are saying, no, we are not handicapped people to park in a handicapped place on that parking lot. We say, no, we have our own property. That's where we want to go and park, and we'll park where we want. I can talk with secessionists just to try to convince him that it is in his best interest to come back to his motherland, to his mother country, to his fatherland, because his place is here and not out there. No, don't just throw words around. You're a lawyer, so you know what it means by mother country. Okay, I don't want to start telling you about the history of Ambazonia, but you tell lies, and that's where you lose a lot of respect. I am really reminded about a friend of mine saying that the people of La Republica are all infantilized, and so you are acting like an infant, and that is sad because you're an old man now. But secession is not an option and will never be an option as far as I am concerned. When Charles de Gaulle stood and announced the acquisition of Ambazonia, he did not say Ambazonia or Southern Cameroon at the time was a little gift from the Queen of England to La République du Cameroun. No, he didn't say that. He said Ambazonia is a little gift from the Queen of England to the French. Okay? So you remain a French possession, and I think your people are looking up to you to make that case, that you need to be your own people. You need to be your own man. You were created by God and given that land to dream in that land for yourself. Okay? You need to stand up for your people. If you're not, Ambazonians are standing up for themselves. Will never be an option as far as I am concerned. You know, now that the elections is over, you know, you actually have no option. You see, when you live in a country that's lawless and the citizens are colonial subjects, you can't determine anything to happen in the place. You know, you claim that you won elections, but you cannot be president. So I think when you speak with some humility. Speak with some humility. Speak with some nuance. Because if you speak with some nuance, then you have a chance to engage Ambazonians. Okay? And then allow them have a chance to talk to you or give you permission to talk to them. But you've already cut yourself off by some of the dumb pronouncements you're making.
Secession is not an option and will never be an option as far as I'm concerned.
There's nothing new in declaring that. There's nothing new. When you're given a media spot like that, make news. Don't come and sound like the colonialist who is colonizing you and you just make yourself look like an ass, really. I'm ready to talk with them to understand why they can come to ask for a secession from their country. No, to be honest with you, Ambazonians have never really asked for anything. You know, when the British and the UN gave us to La République du Cameroun, all we wanted was a fair deal. You know, leave us alone and live on your side. We live on our side and we work on some of the things that were promised. Were promised in the two alternatives, which the international community supervised and the people of Ambazonia voted for. That's all what we wanted. But guess what happened? Immediately after October 1, 1961, the French, using the dumbest people that they selected among your population, came and closed all our ports, They closed all our ports, refused to buy our produce, bankrupt us, so that we become dependent on your colonial empire's meagerness. And then you came back, destroyed our government, destroyed our economy, stole all our valuables, not only from equipment that we used to build our roads, but you use that equipment to dig roads heading to your country, prevented us from communicating with one another. In fact, divided our territory into two, went to our schools, downgraded them, rubbished the education, stole all the equipment that were training our citizens to be able to build their own country. You just ramshacked the place. You ramshacked the place. So when you talk of motherland, you don't even know what we're thinking. Sometimes a little empathy can take you a long way. Okay? And we know the Bamileke is so La Republique thinks that they can come into our land and murder us, and somehow we'll lick our wounds and come back and be part of that empire. No. So it's resistance forever, my brother, for whatever that means to you. The root cause is from Fumban. We can go back and revisit the situation. I can already tell you that even that is because of what the Ambazonians are doing. You're looking for ways to get out of the pressure they're putting on you. Or not on you, because you're nobody. On La République, on the French colonial empire. There was a time when nobody was even mentioned Fuman. So most of what is going on now, it is the Ambazonian people dictating what is happening in that place, and then ultimately they'll determine what happens to them, not you. And I think you know that. And so, one of the other things that I would talk about is what you said about they will not win this war. I don't know what you call win. I can tell you that every little change that has taken place in that country came from the people of Ambazonia. Your inconsequential party that you have now, without the Ambazonians, you will not have that party, because the Ambazonian people challenge a one-man dictatorship, and because they don't know what they're doing. And if we were the majority, that whole place would have changed. But we do try. We definitely punch above our weight. So we give you an ability to come and organize your little poor party, and then La Republique is using you to placard democracy so they can keep you under colonialism. And you come, and instead of saying thank you to the people of Ambazonia, you come and you say they will not win the war. No. When they came and they established SDF, it was to challenge that one-man dictatorship. We won. I mean, it wasn't quite the type of democracy that democratic countries practice, but hey, what can you do in a colonial empire that blankets all of Africa? And what can you do with people like you who are the majority, who were trained to not think for themselves, but respond to the whip like dogs? But we won because we allow you to create your little dumb party and gives you a voice or a platform to stand on and not make sense. But you have the platform. Whether it makes sense on it or not is really up to you. Are the Ambazonians going to win this war? I can tell you one thing for sure. Even if Ambazonians stop today, they've won. They've won because I can see everybody rolling back. Paul Biya and the French offering 40 billion to come and do XYZ. No, it will not happen. It will not happen. For the people you've killed, for the irrational behavior where people come with peace plans and say, let's talk about how to live a better life, and you think that the best response to asking for a conversation is to pull a gun. We are saying you maybe can whip a dog and the dog obey, but I think it's Thibault Nash who said you cannot shoot an idea. If Paul Biya admitted one thing so far, which is intellectual, it is that they tried to francophonize, to irrationalize irrational people, and they failed. And that's what you do when you try to do that. When you try to irrationalize rational people, you will not succeed, because rationale is superior than irrationality. Okay? Rationale is superior to being irrational. Are we going to win the war? We will win the war. Just watch. Just watch. We'll win that war before you die, so that you will come down to Ambazonia and you bow down and call us by our name. Ambazonia.